What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only Tesla stock, what you should be looking after for the future. I'm also going to do some in-depth technical analysis and give you guys my price prediction for tomorrow based off what the chart is showing and based off what the data is suggesting. I'm also going to talk about the FOMC meeting, what's going on with the earnings for tomorrow, what President Joe Biden just said about the economy that's very important, and also something very important that Elon Musk, the man, the myth, the legend Elon Musk, put on his Twitter page about himself and something that's going on. And before I break anything down about Elon Musk, before I talk about what's going on with Tesla's share price, I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner, so don't take any of this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire Tesla community as a whole. And the last thing is, if you guys can, please check out the MooMoo link down below and in the description. If you sign up for MooMoo with the link down below and deposit $100 into the account, you're guaranteed 10 free stocks, each worth up to $2,500, and you could always sell these 10 free stocks for cash and use that cash to buy some Tesla shares for free. This is a limited time offer. It ends in just 6 days, so please check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So I did predict yesterday that Tesla would get a close around that $780 level, around there. I did anticipate some downside. I wasn't actually quite sure if 800 would hold. I did think it would actually kind of break below that, but we ended up actually holding above 800, but we did end up closing kind of red just as I had predicted. Now, Tesla is a little bit red right now, and I do see more red to come, as I mentioned previously, but I want to actually give you guys more context about this because it's not just the FOMC meeting, it's also based off earnings. Tomorrow is going to be a very important day for the markets because we have Microsoft announcing earnings too. So when it comes to the markets, looking at what's happening tomorrow, we have the first day of the FOMC meeting. This isn't as pivotal as the second day. This is going to be the bigger day, the 27th, which is Wednesday. That's when we find out what the rate hike will be. Once again, most likely around that 75 basis point level, which is actually considered to be not so significant whatsoever because we've seen this before. Much of this has already been priced in, and many different central banks around the world are actually pricing at 100 basis point hikes, and the US hasn't done that just yet, and it's very unlikely. We'll most likely end up seeing 75 basis points. So that's what we're essentially seeing right now, but there are other significant things in the markets. Now, when it comes to the actual scheduling of the Federal Reserve, we have at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time on Tuesday, they're going to have a closed board meeting, and this is going to be the very important time where they actually figure out what they're going to do with their open market operations and how this will affect their changes to policies going forward to really address this inflationary problem. Now, what else we're essentially seeing in the schedule is we have the big FOMC meeting at 2 o'clock p.m. on Wednesday. This is the bigger one. So this is going to be very important at about 2 p.m. Be ready for that Eastern time as well, because I do expect crazy volatility from the markets during that time frame. Now, I want to talk about something else that's very important. That is the earnings coming out for tomorrow, at least Tuesday in particular. We have some tech stocks kind of announcing earnings. We have McDonald's as well. But the big one I'm really looking at is Microsoft. I want to see how Microsoft ends up kind of performing given everything that's going on. Because if we look right here, Microsoft, Meta, Google, and also Apple and Amazon have their earnings on Thursday, but Microsoft actually has them tomorrow. So tomorrow is going to be a very big day for Microsoft. If Microsoft does not do well on their earnings whatsoever, the whole market could take a bit of a hit because of that. And if they do pretty well, it should be just fine. So that is something that I really want you guys to be prepared for. Now, why on earth are earnings so important? And that's because of the fact that in our economy, when we enter a recession, demand tends to slow down. Consumers tend to spend less money. And as a result of that, businesses lose profits and revenue, and then they end up kind of laying off employees. They end up seeing lots of struggles, and the markets do not like that. Tech stocks especially, they end up kind of like pricing these damages in, and they do this in a more collective manner. So this is why it's very important for us to look at these as indications of what state our economy is in. Now, something that has maybe made some people hopeful, probably not most people, but anyways, President Joe Biden stated that we're not going to be in a recession. And in my personal opinion, I disagree with him to make this claim because you can't objectively say this without actually getting the true reports. Because what's very interesting is how I don't know if it's him intentionally doing this or someone else got him to say this. It's just him trying to keep things afloat, is trying to, stop people from being afraid. But most investors are probably not going to fall for this because we've seen many people out there say very similar things. And the data we're seeing is not suggesting that because remember, okay, I mentioned this previously on the 27th, right? 27th, which is Wednesday, we have the FOMC meeting. We have some earnings. On Thursday, the 28th, we have the GDP report coming out for Q2. And if that comes out as negative, that's how we're truly going to know with 100% certainty if we were in a recession or not. Now, is the GDP quarter being negative the only way for us to figure it out? No, right? It could still be like pretty close to break even and we could still be in one, but if it is negative, then we will be in one, right? It's going to confirm that based off the data. So on the 28th, we're going to find out the truth. We're going to find out if Joe Biden is right about this or not. In my personal opinion, based off what the Atlanta Fed predicted, it seems very unlikely that he's going to be correct about this, and it seems more likely we're going to be in a recession. So that is what I want to prepare everyone for. We do have big dates coming out, not to mention PCE data. So how is this going to affect the market overall? Well, looking at SPY, we were actually a little bit green, just barely closing in the green because of a last-minute push from SPY. But Tesla did end up closing red, which was just as anticipated. So I'm seeing divergence between the SPY and Tesla and the overall market, so to speak, and that's completely normal. I do think that this is actually something that happens during times like these. If we look at NASDAQ, it was a little bit in the red, down about 0.43%. It did get a bit of a push to the upside at the very end as well, but I do anticipate some more potential choppy price action, maybe even more downside due to the FOMC meeting. Now, looking at Tesla, this is what I am seeing that's very important. I actually closed out my drawings. What we did notice is that we didn't get a true 1348 EMA crossover just yet. I think we actually got it right here from the downside. So right now, if you look at the 5-minute chart, for example, if you look at the way Tesla was moving, this thing got a nice 1348 EMA crossover on the 5 minutes, and we got a big push up to 842. And now it appears we got this crossover down right over here, and this thing is starting to respect a bit of a downward trend. So we are respecting a downward trend. If I actually use a bigger time frame, like the 2 hours, I think this gives you a better understanding of it. Without worrying about the EMAs, you can see we are starting to drop like this. We got this crossover from the signal line in the MACD. I did call this yesterday, which is another bearish indicator. RSI actually picked up a little bit despite the fact that the price was kind of flat, so to speak. So we are seeing some bearish divergence from the RSI perspective. And to me, it looks kind of bearish right now. So if I actually close these out, it's looking like this thing is slowly going to start heading to filling this gap all the way back down in that $740 level. That's what it appears to be doing. It's continuing this trend, and it's happening a little bit slower than I originally thought it would. Like I mentioned earlier, I predicted we'd close around 785, stay a little bit in the red. I mean, more red than where we ended up being red today. We are a little red in the after hours too, and I do anticipate a continuation of this given everything going on in the markets. Now, if Microsoft does very well in their earnings, for example, and earnings come out pretty decently from the different sectors as well. Remember, McDonald's has it too. If earnings do really well, the whole market could actually rally a bit, actually push up just a little bit. But because of FOMC, it won't be too big. And Tesla might have somewhat of a like kind of sympathy holding with it, so it's not going to drop as hard because of that. But overall, the trend is still respecting the downtrend. So even if Tesla is held up, 800 still holds us up. To me personally, it doesn't change much. It is still most likely going to come down regardless in the next few days anyways. So I am still more on the bearish side overall based off what these charts are showing. So what do I predict is going to happen for tomorrow? Let me actually bring back my drawings for the support and resistance levels. One of the things you're going to know is we're right now trying to hold $800 of support. That's a very key zone. And if we break below that, this thing is going to most likely come down to that 780 range and trade within this range right here. And if 780 doesn't hold us, this thing is coming all the way down to that 750, 740 zone. And it's most likely, it definitely will fill the gap in my opinion. Now, so far we're trying to hold 800. I don't see 800 holding us up for the next couple of days. I do anticipate Tesla dropping down a little bit but to some extent. Now, it may not drop as hard as I previously had predicted because volatility is not the same in the markets. The market isn't as crazy as before. So that is what I'm essentially seeing. Let me actually zoom out of the chart now just to show you what could end up happening. You could see this downtrend which was being respected. And let me actually make the chart look a little bit more narrow, and then just like this. So what I'm essentially seeing happening to Tesla going into open tomorrow, the market has a tendency of actually seeing a crazy volatility just in the beginning, just temporarily. So we might get a move like this where Tesla pushes up just a couple of dollars like this, then it starts to break down. And I predict we're going to be testing 800 a lot of the time. Now, based off the trend, based off RSI and the different factors out there, we got a 1348 EMA crossover to the downside in the 5-minute already, and we're still respecting the downtrend. It's looking like we're going to test 800 a lot, and we're probably going to break below it. Now, this is dependent on many factors as well, such as earnings, but it does seem a lot more probable that this is going to happen, and this thing might start trading in the high 700s very, very soon. And if that's the case, the next key support zone would be around 780 to 785, around there, but probably 780. And I'm noticing that volatility is just not as crazy throughout the rest of the day for Tesla and many other stocks out there. So I don't think it's going to crash like, $40, $50 in one day. I think it's going to hold these levels, make some very slow moves, and kind of trade sideways for the majority of the day with FOMC coming. The market's kind of on the edge right now. It's not making like crazy big moves as of right now, unless some other factor comes in. But I just don't see it making very big moves. I think it's going to be kind of boring. And I do anticipate it kind of trading in this range and maybe closing around the high 700s, around here, 790, 785, completely normal. I do see a move like this. And going into the, future in more forward days, I wouldn't be surprised if we slowly see Tesla downtrend back down to that 740 level. I do see the gap fill coming. And after that, other big things will come as well. Now, when it comes to the stock split, I do anticipate that coming most likely around sometime in early August. So that could be another bullish catalyst, which is what could actually cause a reversal. So until then, I do anticipate a bit of a downtrend all the way down here. When the stock split comes, this thing might actually start to push up once again. And after that, we'll kind of continue from there. But we're not necessarily ready or at that stock split moment just yet. And there are other factors that are kind of dictating this price. So I do anticipate more downside for the near term. That's essentially what I'm seeing for Tesla. And for the overall market, I do think downside is a little bit more likely, considering we have earnings coming out, the FOMC meeting, the GDP report, and PCE coming out on Friday. So very important week. Big things are coming. Downside may be prominent, but it's not the end of the world. We all know the drills. Now, when it comes to Elon Musk, there is one more thing I wanted to mention for you guys. There's lots of controversy about some of the, things that may be going on. I can't really mention them because of, YouTube and so on and so forth. But we know like things are going on. You could actually look them up about Elon Musk. And as a result of this, Elon Musk posted a picture with the co-founder of Google just to show that they do have a good relationship. They're still friends and so on and so forth. At least that's what he's implying in this state. Then Musk ended up stating something else that's very important. So someone asked Musk, why on earth are we seeing all of these suspicious things coming out about you like right now? And then Musk actually responded this right here. He stated that the media is a click-seeking machine dressed up as a truth-seeking machine. So he's basically implying that a lot of things you're seeing about him are not necessarily true. The media does actually try to get as many clicks as possible to generate revenue. There's truth, massive, massive truth behind his words. With that said and done, I want to thank each and every one of you for listening. Please have a great rest of the day. Be prepared for anything and get ready for some more potential downside for Tesla, as I do think that that is more probable based off what the trend is showing. Thank you for listening. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Tesla to the moon, because the long-term future is still bright, and peace out.